Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ramadan Kareem, dear colleagues. I hope you are having a blessed month of Ramadan, and it is such an honor for us today as part of our Ramadan Summit, Design Post-COVID Humanity, Ta'aruf, Ta'awun, and Tarahum program. We have Mr. Abdulsamad Khan, and today he is with us with a really fascinating title entitled Too Young for Social Impacts. Even the title itself really so fascinating, and without actually hearing anything about the content. But I'm sure, I assure you that knowing the work Mr. Abdulsamad has been doing, this will be a fascinating session, and we are looking forward to having his talk. Also, I would like to thank each and every one of you for showing interest to our Ramadan Summit series. Today is the 7th day of Ramadan, and I feel that in 7 days we hosted so many amazing talks, including today, and inshallah more will be coming very soon. And more events are also on the way. As you know, Thursday we have 2 additional events in addition to our Ramadan talks, but we will provide more information about these events in due course. Some of them are already on our Instagram, Maker Majlis, and also my personal accounts. Let me first introduce, although it is very difficult to really limit in just 1 minute, a fascinating, inspirational young mind who has done a lot for humanity. I'm emphasizing the word humanity because our program, Design Post-COVID Humanity, is for humanity, which means it is not just for now, it is for the past, using today as a bridge and moving together in a more sustainable, in a more fair, in a more inclusive way to the future. So, Mr. Abdulsamad Khan is the founder and CEO of Youth Impact, an award-winning not-for-profit, having trained more than 25,000 youth since 2013. Mr. Khan, a cancer survivor who has dedicated his second life to empower youth of the world, has introduced Markor, a unique wilderness-based youth leadership conference held annually in Himalayas. He is the first Pakistani to graduate from National Outdoor Leadership School, NOLS, abbreviated, in the United States of America, which led him to train youth leaders across 5 continents on Earth. His leadership classrooms include Kilimanjaro Peak, Langkawi Islands, Maria Islands, Great Barrier Reef, Rocky Mountains, and the stunning Himalayas and Karakoram ranges in Pakistan. In the past 2 decades, Mr. Khan has trained corporate leaders from Pakistan's top national and multinational companies in the wilderness. There, Mr. Abdulsamad, welcome. The floor is yours. And their participants enjoy in its fullest extent. Thank you. Mr. Abdulsamad, you are muted. I am trying to ask for unmute. Yes, now okay. Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm absolutely honored to be amongst all these wonderful young people from around the world. And thanks for this very detailed and generous introduction. And yes, you heard it right, guys. It's Himalayas, my most favorite classroom of leadership in the world. You know, just imagine yourself sitting on the top of the mountain where there's no limit, no boundary, and you are experiencing self-transformation, where you not just go through the physical challenges, but mental, emotional, spiritual, And that is the classroom I'm really proud of, that I had been working for last 2 decades in these kind of amazing places. So unfortunately or fortunately, due to COVID, we couldn't take you guys into those environments someday. Inshallah, I'm hoping that I will be having you at any mountains or deserts or oceans or snowy plains, where we can learn more from each other. So wonderful, talking about the young people, and are they ready to take up this leadership role. So let me quickly share with you what I'm thinking about this whole talk today. So I call it too young. This is a question which I'm asking to myself, and this is a question I'm posing to this group of young participants. That we, most of the time, we come up with this excuse that I am too young. And this is where we are going to touch upon this subject, that in this changing face of the society, in this changing world, as my friend said, that post COVID humanity. So are we safe? Are we comfortable? Are we ready to hand over this world into the hands of young people? And that's the subject. With your help, we are going to discover more about that. So what is this changing world to me? I mean, we all have experienced this pandemic, and we are still going through. In Pakistan, we are going through that third wave, and a lot of uncertainty, a lot of chaos, a lot of fear. I mean, this is absolutely a VUCA world. I'm going to touch upon what is that VUCA world. This is volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, where things are so ambiguous that you are not sure what is truth, what is wrong, what is doable, what is going to happen tomorrow. So this is that kind of time we are all living in. So that is the changing face of this world. The economic and geopolitical powers, they're shifting from Europe and North Americas to rest of the world. We see this technology disrupting our minds, our economic models, our educational models, our whole lifestyle. I mean, this little gadget in my hand, in your hand, it is just transforming your and my life. And then this whole dramatic shift in the social engagement through the power of social media. Right now, you are sitting in different parts of the world, and we are communicating and we are connecting through the power of social media. This is where the changing face of this world is there. And civil society organizations, government, private sectors, all having their blurred boundaries. The nationalities, the religions, the ethnicities, all blurred boundaries. And this is what we are facing every day today. And the most important fact, where I'm most interested in this changing face of today's world, is the high bulge of young population. Like in Pakistan, we are a country where we have got 120 million young people in this country, and I'm sure a lot of countries, those who are participating in today's session, you belong to those nations where youth are a huge population size. So talking about young people in this changing world, this is what I always love to talk about it, and this is where I believe that um, I have dedicated my this second life to work with these young people. So, what does this mean to have this changing world in the hands of young people? I mean, uh, 1.8 billion youth population in the world. So this is the total size, the magnitude we are talking about when we talk about young people. And 90% of them living in the developing countries. This is again a huge number, 90%. And Asia being the largest number of young population, 750 million. So and a huge number which is unemployed. So this is the number, this is the changing phase. And if I say that this changing world is just derived by this one keyword, which is being young, the young people, the youth, and that is the changing face of this world we are, facing with. And I always say that, young people, they are the most strategic asset, not a problem to be fixed, but a most strategic asset of any nation, of this entire globe. And that's where, myself, all these institutions around the world, all the governments, all the global bodies, they are so much concerned and they're so much focused on the young people. And why I'm so much, excited, and why I'm so much optimistic about young people. You all have these wonderful stories about these young boys and girls who are making change. Either it's in climate, or it's in education, or in the political advocacy. So we see all these amazing stories at the global, at the macro level. I'm here sharing this screen from my personal experience. So I run this not-for-profit in Pakistan called Youth Impact. Now, here's this very interesting statistics. Last year when we got this pandemic, and we have almost 25,000 young people who have gone through our different programs. So out of them, we randomly picked up 201 young people who are in the age of 18 to 24. And our team called them that we just want to check if you are okay, if you are doing well. And secondly, we want to understand that you have gone through youth impacts programs. So we want to understand that what you are trying to do in this pandemic. So what is your contribution in the pandemic? And ladies and gentlemen, this is a mind-blowing number: 201 young boys and girls who are still students. And most of young people in their age, they think that we are just going to focus on our academics, on our grades, or it's just the time where we have to enjoy our life. So we'll see when we'll turn 30s and 40s that what we can do for the world. So ladies and gentlemen, these are those young people in 18 and in the age of 18 to 24, who say that when we faced this pandemic, we stepped out of our homes, or we got on our computer and we started talking to the people, and we started identifying who needs me. Because I'm a young social leader, I've got responsibility on my shoulder, and I've got energy, and I'm less uh, vulnerable to this pandemic. So how can I play my part? So what they did, these 201 people, they say that we raised almost 100, more than 100,000 US dollars. So it's huge money when we convert it into Pakistani currency. So all these young people, they raised this much money. Why? To bring food and ration, supplies, groceries for more than 11,000 needy families who are suffering because of this pandemic. And they're reaching out to these people. They're dedicating their most valuable asset, which is time, contributing more than 3,000 hours volunteering for these 11,000 families, and reaching out to 180,000 individuals, the patients, those individuals who are suffering, and helping that humanity. I mean, this is just exciting number, and whenever I see this data, my motivation level goes high, and I get out of my bed, and I get off my office. That if these young people are doing so much, why I'm sitting alone here? Why I'm not doing my part? And this is what we at our age, like I have crossed that young age where I believe that my biggest motivation comes from seeing young people around the world playing their part. And what I do, what is my journey, they say this is this famous I love this quote. Let me share the screen with you. Yeah. They say we cannot always build future for the youth, but we can build our youth for the future. So, which means as elders, as someone who is responsible for an institution or a university or a government or the globe, they have this responsibility to create those opportunities to help our young people to develop themselves. But this is what the influencers or decision makers have to do. As young people, as young participants, my question and my advice to you is that what you are trying to do to develop yourself. I really admire, I know your answer. You're already sitting in this session. Is this commitment? Is this verdict that you're already interested and committed about your self development? I really admire that. Now, this is what we need to translate into these 1.8 billion young people, where we need to invite them. We need to create those platforms where they feel confident that they can work on their self development. We are so lucky to have all this technology and all this connectivity in our hands. And when it comes to personal development, your own development, a lot of time we are just misled by our economic development, because we are so much focused and obsessed into our academic life, into our education, that we just see the professional development. So that is just one component, because your wholesome paradigm is about four parts. It makes you a complete human. Your physical development, your development at your body part, how, what kind of food you intake, what kind of physical habits or sports or fitness, how do you ensure that your body is ready for the challenges of this 21st century. And then comes your mental growth, your mental development, all the knowledge, all the education, all these kind of conferences you're attending. This is where you beef up your mental and intellectual growth. And then comes your emotional growth, your heart, your compassion, your love, your giving back. You know, this sympathy and empathy. So, this is where your emotional growth also becomes an important element of your wholesome development. And then the most important, and that's where we are lucky to have this spiritual environment of Ramadan, where we get a chance for our spiritual development. No matter what religion you follow, there is a whole framework in every philosophy, in every ideology for our spiritual growth. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I believe all these four components, if you are not working simultaneously on all these parts at one given time, which means in one given day or in 24 hours, if your time is not divided between these four components, so there is going to be an imbalance. So this is, I know, a lot of challenging invite for most of us who are so much occupied in our digital world. But this is important. Your physical, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, all these components, when you combine them together, that's where I see a real impact coming out from young people. So as a youth impact, we had been working with these wonderful, amazing youth all across the world. And let me quickly take you through my quick journey, that how I got into this whole experience of creating a whole young world of young social leaders. So as you heard in my introduction, that I had been working with the corporate clients. So for last almost 2 decades, I'm into training and leadership development business. That's my profession. So I've been training all these business leaders, and here comes a time in 2006 and 7 where I got diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a type of a cancer. And that 1 year time where I was on my chemo and all my that nuclear medicine, where I lost my hair, where I lost my energy, my enthusiasm. That was the moment where I realized that what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. I'm so lucky that I got this life back. That's why I'm standing in front of you today. And the point is this question, that why cancer happened to me and what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. And that is a question that I asked myself 10 years back. And that's where I'm raising this question to this forum, that why you are on earth and what rest of your life, this, as we say in this conference, your post COVID humanity. So, what is going to be your impact in that world? So, when I ran after this question, that, why me? Why I got into this whole mess in my life, I got to find this answer. Uh, it was all about my goals, my purpose, my vision for my life. Before cancer, my goals were uh, to be a rich person, to have to travel all over the world and a great lifestyle, and nothing wrong about that, because there's nothing wrong being rich, nothing wrong making a lot of money if you earn all this through fair means. But the problem is that it was such a small goal that I was just thinking about myself, that I get this, I get this, I get that. And I think to me, that was a wake up call to shift my focus from getting to giving. And the moment I realized that, I know this one skill only, which is leadership development. So instead of just focusing it to the corporate leaders, to the business leaders, why can't I work with young people uh, who might not be able to give back to me in terms of material, but definitely in terms of that inner satisfaction, that peace of mind, that peaceful sleep that we get on the bed because of giving back, because of that contribution. So that had been the prime reason for me to shift my focus from corporate towards young people. And just to give you a quick glimpse, that the moment you start giving, the moment you decide that you are going to contribute, the moment you decide that you have got some power which makes you unstoppable, even if you are in the age of 18 or 20 or 24, even if your pockets are empty, even if you are still a college or university student, but still, the moment you realize that you have got this power, the moment you start giving, actually, it's the moment you start receiving. And that's what happened with me. I had all these dreams in my life to be at the best places in the world. And I got a chance to climb with a young group of youth leaders from Australia, taking them up to the highest peak in Africa, Kilimanjaro. I got to camp at the beautiful resorts and beaches around the world. And all that I got in my life without spending a single penny. Isn't it amazing? The moment you realize that you have to give back, you have to contribute with your life, with your skills, with your talents, whatever gift you have got, you start giving, actually start receiving. And all your dreams and desires and wishes, they become the byproduct of your life, and they start running behind you. They just start knocking your doors every day. And this is that roller coaster journey I'm enjoying for last 10 years. This is so amazing, the power of giving. And that does not need any age, that does not have to have any level of fitness, any financial or economic status. It is just that shift of your mind. It's, they say, even your smile is a charity. Even your smile is a charity. What does that mean? First, it means that you need to pass on the smile. So please, people, keep smiling. We need to smile. Yes, Tikang, I see your video and I love that you're smiling. So people, we need to smile. But that's the first thing. But the deep-rooted philosophy behind this saying that your smile is a charity means it costs nothing. It does not need any money, no resources. It is just available with you. So if you do not have anything to contribute, at least pass on a smile to a person. Maybe it can make his or her day. Maybe you just take a rock or something off the track, off the road, so that you're making it more easy for the traffic, for the walker bys, to go smoothly or walk smoothly on the street, anything. You have got some education, maybe you can educate someone. Or as I shared this example of these 201 young boys and girls in Pakistan who themselves are dependent on their parents, the moment they realize this power, unstoppable power of giving, they start raising money for more needy people. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the whole premise, that it is not about age, it is not about the social status, it is not about the formal designations or institutions behind you. It just needs a shift of mind. And the moment you start giving, it's the moment you start receiving. Your desires, your wishes, your dreams, they will just follow you. So, passing on to, thank you very much, Khadija Terha. I love this message of you smiling. And just to quickly, conclude and wrap up, what three questions I'm posing to this group. And these three questions, or these 3 points, where I think that it is very important for us to get into that leadership mindset, that mindset where we start contributing. So the first and foremost is your own values. Because I see, as young people, we are at times, the young people are pretty impatient. They just jump into the action. So the practice or the action is just the tip of that iceberg. Deep rooted your action has to be your principles, your values, and most importantly, the purpose, the sense of purpose and meaning in your life, why you are on earth. So these are those questions which I'm leaving you guys with these thoughts, that your practice, your action is what everyone sees, what you post on your Insta and your Twitter and your Facebook to tell to the world. This is on top of the surface, but underneath, there must be some deep rooted principles and values and purpose. And in this 18 minutes, I cannot take you through this journey, that how you can discover your purpose and values. Definitely, I would love to help anyone who is interested in this part. Definitely, we can explore it together. I'll share my contact details at the end of this presentation. That's the first question. The second thing which I would like to present over here is about the leadership paradigm. As young people, I come up with this question and query a lot of time, that I do not have the power, I do not have the designation. So what I learned at this national outdoor leadership program, this picture you see over here, I mean, apparently they're camping in the snow, but believe me, it's not just that. It is much more. It is a leadership development program. There are people who are learning about themselves, who are discovering about themselves, who are learning how to lead the world. Now, the first leadership paradigm, or the role in which you can go and lead and change this world, is the designated role. You can be the head of a society or a club, you can be the head of an institution, you can be the president of a country, you can be the CEO of a company, you can be the founder of your own startup. So that is your designated leader. So yeah, do play that role very effectively, and that is everyone understand. The second leadership role is being active follower. If you're not into any designated leadership role, by being an active follower to someone whom you are following is also your contribution towards leadership. And then thirdly, the peer leadership. There are people at your own level, and instead of going to your leadership for providing any feedback to your fellow, your colleague, you just directly approach him and her, and you guide them, you give them feedback, you advise them. That is your peer leadership role. And then the last paradigm of leadership is your self leadership. If you do not have anyone to lead, at least you have got this, your own self, your own mind, your own heart, your own body, your own spirit self. At least take responsibility of your own self. Now, when you look at these four paradigms, designated leader, active follower, peer leader, self leader, you will see that there is no exemption in whatever condition, whatever age, whatever role you are in on this earth, you have got this leadership responsibility. Because this is, as a human, it is your responsibility to make this world better, no matter what role you are in. So that is my second point where I would like to this group to focus. The third challenge, the third point, the third part of this whole presentation is being ahead of VUCA. As I already mentioned, it's about volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world which we are facing today. Especially this pandemic has taught us very well that what does VUCA mean. Every day we are getting a new news. Every day there's a whole new thing. Last year this time we all were stuck with the fear, and this year in April, we're all thinking about getting vaccinated and the impact of vaccination. I mean, look at this VUCA world we are in. Now, how to cope up with this VUCA world? Very quickly. Number one, as a young person, having an unquenchable appetite, a thirst, a hunger to learn, unlearn, relearn. This is, they say that illiterate in 21st century are not those who cannot read or write. Illiterate in 21st century are those who cannot unlearn and relearn. So that is the first part that can help you cope up with this VUCA world. Taking you to the second part, which is having a resolute mind to accept change. I mean, there are ordinary people who resist change. There are good leaders who embrace change, and there are great leaders who change even before the change is needed. So, where do you fall? Are you at an ordinary level who is always resisting to the change, or someone who embraces change with dignity, with strength, with proactive approach, or you are someone who foresee that change, who enables himself and herself, who learns and unlearn and relearn for that future. So where do you stand? Where is your capability to manage the change? And the third part, have an unwavering commitment not to compromise on your values, which means where everything is going to change, your values and your principles are those foundation stones in this VUCA world, where you need to be very clear about that. So I'm repeating it again: your values, your principles, your purpose, not just your practices and action, or not just what you post on your social media means only. So that is the foundation which makes you a leader who can actually contribute back to the world. Because fortunate or fortune favors the prepared mind. How prepared we are, this depends how fortunate we are in this world. So, ladies and gentlemen, uh, leaving you guys with these three questions. When was the last time you did something for the first time? I'm repeating, when was the last time you did something for the first time? And why it is important? Because doing something for the first time takes you through risk. It makes you succeed or fail, but ultimately learn. It brings excitement and adventure within you. So find out that, in last 3 months or 4 months in this 2021, what had been the new thing you had been doing for the first time? If not, think about a new language, or maybe making some new friends, or maybe developing some other habit. So doing something or adding something into your skill. So that is question number one. Question number two, why you must volunteer. I mean, there are a lot of reasons for people to volunteer. What is your reason? There must be very specific signature answer to this question for you, why you should volunteer. So think about it, put it on a paper, put all possible reasons that what is in it for you. And then you'll see that your volunteerism, your giving back has a logical reason. And based on that, your last question is, what is your impact? That is the last question I'm asking all of you. And bear in mind, when you look at this word impact, you see two different colors. So it says important. What is important in your life is the power of act. What you do, that is the most important thing. Yes, do ponder upon your values and your purpose in your life. Do enhance your leadership skills, your competencies. Understand all those four levels of leadership. You're not exempted, whatever age you are in, and get into that mindset of giving back. So, with all this, preparing yourself for VUCA world, the most important thing where this whole philosophy, whole effort culminates is the act, your action, getting out of your classroom, getting out of your bed, getting into action. So that is the most important thing where I believe, I'm seeing all around this world where young people, they are creating their impact. And I'm pretty hopeful, and I can see in my own life that, all these young people at micro and macro level, at domestic, national and international level, we are seeing young people creating wonders. And that's why I'm very much hopeful, and that's where I believe that maybe I'm just dedicating my rest of the life, my second life, to young people. Thank you very much. It will be an honor to listen from you guys, and I've just shared my contact details. And if we have any questions, I would love to answer that.
Thank you so much, dear Mr. Abdulsamad. This has been really fantastic. If you allow me, maybe if we can close down the sharing first, I will try to, yes. So while you were talking, actually, it hit me really hardly because it in so many different ways. Your speech has been so inspirational, and also as a fellow cancer survivor twice, I really connected really deeply, and I was trying to write down your words. I know that you are this is recorded, but I was also trying to share as much as I can on social media. I was very inspired. And I'm also very happy to see all these amazing people who joined us today, our professors, our actually colleagues from Hamad bin Khalifa University. That means so much, actually, that this session has been remarkable. Our students. I felt like really like this, on top of Himalayas, like while we were talking, like you kind of took us to a different realm. So I think this is a good time right now for us to receive some questions. And I have a feeling that we have some really inspiring comments. I'm just checking the box right now. Let me first go over some comments. Semevia says, first of all, I would like to appreciate you and for the wonderful speech. Your way of talking is so inspiring. Laura says, amazing speech. I had a kind of like a comment saying that Abdulsamad Khan is in the house, and Semevia again. So yeah, so great. So any questions there, everyone, their students, their professors, their colleagues? Tekang, I know that you are going to be the first, but I'm going to leave you to the last today. Like 7 presentations in a row, you are the first one to ask. Let's change the rule today. Who else other than Tekang? Please raise your hands. And Semevia is asking actually if you are from Pakistan. I believe you already mentioned, right, that you are from Pakistan. And Ayan is asking, how can we support family to support youth?
Okay, I'm trying to understand this question. Like, you want your family to be convinced that they support young people, they empower young people, right? Very quickly answering to this question, when I got into this whole work, I went to my father that I want to do this work, and he thought that maybe I'm just into tours and trips and adventures, and I just want to go and hang out to these beautiful places. So I one day I took him to my work, like my leadership camp, and I asked him to stay with me for 3 days. And after 3 days, when we were driving back home, you know what he said? Abdul Samad, your work I've just seen today is like worshipping. It's like ibadah. So keep doing this work for rest of your life. So I didn't have to do anything. I just had to showcase my family that what is my work and what is the benefit of my work to humanity. And definitely it's very important for young people in terms of your professional development, because our parents, our families, they're concerned about your academics, but they're spending a lot of money. They are investing their hopes in you, and they want to see you as a successful professional. Now, this is very important. You need to learn this art of being able to present your volunteer work, your social impact in terms of your professional achievements, like how it is going to enhance your professional life. So this is where again I'll bring it back to you, that is your skill, your competence. How do you communicate, how do you articulate, and how do you present it to your family that this is in your best benefit, so that you're on your side, not opposing you.
Thank you so much once again, there, Abdulsamad. Now let me actually unmute there, Ayan. Maybe she can expand on her question a bit more.
Yeah, it was that, and you kind of touched on it. It's just the problem that we have, especially if you're looking at female youths, that there is a lot of barriers to allow them to access all the things that you talked about, which were very beneficial, very great. But how do we overcome these barriers, whether it's cultural, whether it's the lack of knowledge, because our parents and the generations before us did not have all the things that we have right now. So to them, all this is foreign. They could view it as a waste of time. They could already have plans for their children that doesn't involve this kind of work, and they might not be able to see that. So considering, like, looking at your culture and looking at how you grew up and the perspective your parents have, how can we internationally support young people who are dealing with the similar restrictions? So I guess what you said about bringing them along is good, but in situations where we can't bring along, or maybe the parents are so disinterested that they wouldn't even come with you to these places. So maybe activities they can do at home, maybe things that they can apply at home to kind of create the family involvement, involving families in some way at home, activities they can do at home that could help parents see these skills and the benefit these skills have.
Absolutely, I agree with your concern, Ayan. And I would say, as young people, when we are thinking about a relationship, we always think that, how I'm going to approach this person, what kind of present I'm going to buy for him or her. I'm just giving you an example because a lot of young people can relate with that. Now, this has to be strategic. Engaging your families in your social impact journey is as strategic as finding your life partner. And for that you have to do that homework, that planning. And I bring that onus to the young people. If your family, your parents, if they are not familiar, if they're not convinced, as you said, that they're coming from their own experiences and they do not understand the value in your experiences, that's not their fault. You are born in a world where you see this as a different thing. Now that's where you need to be that strategic. And maybe you can just bring some important information in your cell phone, or video or picture of someone who has done something amazing, and be patient about that. Be strategic, as I say, that don't expect a yes from them in first go. For example, we in Pakistan, we most of the time we live in a very conservative society, where for a young girl who wears hijab, or who follows religious practices. For her, going into a camp up in Himalayas where they're all boys and girls, for a family which follows that conservative values, it's very difficult for them to allow their daughter to go there. So what she can do, and she does, because I know a lot of these wonderful, amazing ladies, they do this strategy. So like Shakira is one of my example, that just comes into my mind. So very first time when she went to her parents, they said, no, big no, you're not going into all co camp where they're all boys and girls. And then first year she misses that opportunity. Then she brings a picture of her class fellow who won this award at that camp, and she's also from a similar socio-economic cultural family, and she tells that, wow, I'm so envied by my this friend, she won this. And then she brings her mother to appreciate, and then gradually there comes, and then she connects the parents with the decision makers like youth impact team, so they interact, they check that who these people are. And then finally there comes a time where Shakra makes it to the camp. And now what happens, Shakra herself tells this story, that now her mother says, take your second sister, your third sister, your fourth sister, your that cousin, your that neighbor, your that relative. And this is how this social change works. One good positive example. And now the onus is again to the young people. What do you do with that freedom? If you are given that chance of freedom at the time at your own, do you misuse or abuse or disappoint them, or you bring fame and you bring good words for those parents whose daughter or whose son is that person? So I'm sure that as parents, they always feel pride about their kids when everyone is talking positive about their kids. So we need to bring back those stories and those good words to our homes, so that our parents are more willing to take one more step, and then one more step, and there comes a time where we see this whole change all over us, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdulsamad, and thanks to Ayan for the wonderful question. Actually, we have a colleague there, Mr. Suleiman Bah from Education City Mosque. He is the community engagement officer, and I just kindly asked him to unmute. And
Assalamualaikum, Brother Abdulsamad. I want to say you are my main man from Pakistan. You got to be my main man from Pakistan. It's a country I've always wanted to go to. Maybe just the whole little American in me, the media, what's there. I don't know anybody there. I know a lot of people that are Pakistani outside of Pakistan, but in Pakistan, not really. And then what you see in the media, but I know the pictures, and a lot of my Instagram pictures are following just, places in Swat Valley and, the KPK area. So I can't wait to come to Pakistan, and I'm inviting myself. I'm sorry. I'm going to be coming to be with you. That's number one. Number two, I'm so happy and enthralled to actually meet someone who is a Knowles alumna. I've always wanted to go to Knowles, so I'm a future alumna of Knowles, inshallah. But I want to get a little bit more from you about what was the push to Knowles to go to the National Outdoor Leadership School, and how long did you stay? And then I guess when was that moment, whether you were at Knowles or after Knowles, that you said, you know what, I have to start my own. I have to start my own outdoor leadership type of training or program. A lot of people need this. Yeah. You're my main man from Pakistan, bro. I'm coming.
Absolutely, absolutely. I put my contact details here. So let's get connected and we can talk more about Knowles and all that experience, inshallah, over there. Thank you for your appreciation and your kind words.
Yeah. There, Suleiman, this is wonderful. Maybe we'll go together. So
most welcome. Absolutely. First, you have to come to Pakistan. We'll take you up into the mountains, and believe me, there are no terrorists up there. So we'll just be at our own.
Okay, Design Post-COVID Humanity Himalaya Edition. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would love that idea. Do that.
Thank you. So I think, dear colleagues, because of time limitations, we can take one more question, and I believe that person will be a very famous Manchester City fan, Tekang.
Hello, Ask. I know. I just love the abbreviation of the name Ask. It's very interesting. Yeah, here's my question. I really want to find out from you, from the pictures which you've shown to us, the places which you got your trainings with your people being there. Not in classrooms. I definitely saw like one or two pictures probably in the classrooms. What precipitated your move to the mountains, to the beautiful places, or what?
Tekang, I must admire your very close observation. That's wonderful, excellent. Okay, so why all these mountains and why we are conducting these kind of leadership programs into the nature? So from the very beginning of humanity, nature had been the classroom of the humans learning about themselves. Still in 21st century, where we are so much addicted to these gadgets, still that nature has got those powerful forces that help you reflect within yourself. When you look at that mountain, I mean, each and everything, I can talk about it the whole day, each and everything has a lot to teach you. If I just give you an example of this tiny ladybird, this tiny insect, ladybug or ladybird, if you put it on your hand, it always goes upwards. If you turn your hand upside down, it changes its direction. Again, it goes upwards. Now, this is just a little expression of nature, whereas a human being, there's an invitation for me and you that you are a human being, a brainy human being. And this tiny insect even does not have that brain. But look at that tiny insect, it always goes upwards. And what is your approach towards life? You just get disappointed on any little incident or any breakup or any mishap in your life, and you go down and down and down. Just focus on that. Now, this is just an example. When you get this reflective mind, you start focusing on nature as your biggest mentor, then you will realize that, as young people, we're all having a nature deficit disorder. This is not a medical term, but this is an expression to tell that we have got this nature deficit disorder. All credit goes to this phone. My wife is calling me, by the way. So this nature is the solution, my dear friend, and you do not have to go to Himalayas to find that nature. Even if in your bedroom, in your office, in your classroom, that little vase with this plant or this flower, go and spend 5 minutes with that leaf. Look at the lines on that leaf and look at that tiny flower, how many tiny insects are getting their food out of that flower. Just 5 minutes, that's my promise. It will suck out all your stresses, all your pains in that 5 minutes. So please go and spend time with nature.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdulsamad. And this has been a fantastic session. Hopefully, we really would like to host you again in our future events and maybe co-organize events together. And once again, you honored us. We wish you a pleasant rest of Ramadan and special thanks. And special thanks all our participants. Don't forget, we are designing post-COVID humanity. Thank you.
Absolutely honored. Thank you very much. And definitely, I'm looking forward to work with you guys on these wonderful initiatives. And do count me in wherever you need me, inshallah. Thank you very much.
And please follow Mr. Abdulsamad on social media accounts he shared. And please tag him. And that's our hub to continue our discussion. Take care. Bye-bye. Ma salama. Dear students of global affairs, please, now it's 3 p.m. and we will start our lecture. Please do not leave the room. If you are not in global affairs program, please feel free